I don't think it could have gone better. Week one of this road to 165, where I'm dropping 35 pounds of fat and around 9 inches off my waist, I don't think it could have gone better. It was a very interesting week. Now, let's start off with calories because that's the main part of the last 2 weeks of June. I'm going to be eating or finding maintenance calories. And so I just threw it way out into the ocean of calories and I said 4,000 calories. It was body weight times 20, which I didn't expect. I expected to rapidly gain weight on that because I would rather gain weight and then lower than not gain weight and be just as stuck. Because the problem that I ran into earlier this year is that I was 200 pounds and I was eating 2,000 calories for a long time and I wasn't losing weight nor was I gaining weight, and I just kept on feeling worse and worse and worse, which made zero sense because you would assume that if you're 200 pounds, you cut your calories that low, the weight's going to fly off. Yeah, you're going to lose a little bit of muscle, but I would rather be a little bit leaner and then keep increasing and seeing how my recovery is. But it just wasn't working out because at 2,000 calories, I wasn't losing any weight. At 2,500 calories, I wasn't losing any weight. At 2,800 calories, I wasn't losing any weight. It was tough because at that point, I was just so frustrated. So I said, you know what? For this cut from the last 2 weeks of June all the way to the beginning of next year, I'm going to start at 4,000 calories. And boy, was that a good decision. So, like I said, I've been eating 4,000 calories, 200 grams of protein, about 450 grams of carbs, and I think 160 grams of fat. And the transformation of just eating that much was insane. I feel way better. The brain fog that I had for the longest of times where it's like, what is 6 times 6? So I'm like, 10? It's now 6 times 6 is 36. I can do math. I can think straight. It's a lot better. And my mood went through the roof from little things irritating me constantly or blowing up at the smallest inconvenience. I'm now a lot more clear-minded, a lot more smooth, a lot more like, okay, this is just a bump in the road. I can keep going. So it wasn't like I was constantly like trying to control or like having to deal with being angry all the time. And at that part, I was just like, oh, I'm just so frustrated. No, that was a calorie issue. That was the second I started eating more, my mood shot through the roof. I feel a lot better. But what was very surprising about eating 4,000 calories, which has got me thinking of bumping it even more, is the sheer amount of exhaustion I felt. Like, I didn't think I would feel exhausted. I think I would have felt pumped. I'd feel good. I'd tackle in the gym feeling like amazing, feeling like He-Man in the gym. No, that was not the case. We'll start with the exhaustion on the walking level. So I had a New Year's resolution. I have a New Year's resolution of walking 10K steps every single day, and I haven't missed a day since the beginning of the year. And so I've walked for 180 days now. And it was when I first started eating 4,000 calories, that walk that was effortless for 170 days, which I think was actually pure adrenaline that got me through it, was super exhausting. Every step I felt like I was dragging myself through it. That was the toughest 10K steps of the year so far, and it was like that for 3 days. My feet were tired, my calves were tired, my hamstrings were throbbing, my calves were throbbing, my glutes, and I felt like I had to use a lot of effort to keep myself up. I was so exhausted on that walk, and I was eating more calories than I ate all year, which was crazy. It was crazy. To be entirely honest, I still don't understand how I can be so exhausted eating more. And the exhaustion was crazy. Like, even before, like, driving, I felt like myself, like, trying to stay awake. And I had eaten 4,000 calories and I got 7 hours of sleep the night before. But it was a drag. I was so tired. It got to the point that I would, between the drive from my house to the gym, I would just feel myself getting tireder and tighter as I got to the gym. And I've never had to do this before, but I took 10, 15-minute power naps in the car parking lot before I walked into the gym just to get a little bit more energy because I was just that tired. And I had to do that for a whole week because I was that exhausted. When I was eating 2,000 calories, no problem. I could drive perfectly. I can go straight into the gym, get through my workout, come back, and then be fine. But when I increased my calories to 4,000, the exhaustion was through the roof. Now, to be entirely honest, I still don't know why. The exhaustion feels better, and that's why I'm thinking about upping my calories a little bit more, regardless of what the scale says, which we'll get to in a minute. But it was crazy to see that amount of exhaustion. The workouts, the second I started working out, I started getting more energy. I started feeling better and all that stuff. And even though I was exhausted, I was still constantly making strength gains. Like strength-wise, my shoulder... So I've been doing Arnold presses recently. And I went from doing 35 pounds for 3 sets of 3 to climbing all the way to 55 pounds for 3 sets of 3 in like a week. And my AMRAP, which means as many reps as possible, and I go up to 10, went from 30 for 10 reps, or well, 25 for 10 reps, and now it's at 45 for 8 reps. And it was crazy. Even though I felt crazy exhausted, my strength started going through the roof. And my recovery felt better. My muscles weren't like hurting after a workout. Now, granted, that was me being pretty short-sighted because I was so caught up in trying to be lean that when I was 200 pounds eating 2,000 calories, after every workout for a while, my muscles would just be in pain. And I didn't really think much about it. I'm like, oh, no gain, no pain, no gain. No, that was very short-sighted thinking. Pain should not be involved with any part of the process. It was just something I've realized eating 4,000 calories. But for the results that really are the main decider of whether this cut goes well or goes bad is the scale. Now, what happened to the scale eating 4,000 calories? And surprisingly, not much. The first day I started, I was 202 pounds. After a week of eating 4,000 calories, my average weight was 201.2 pounds, which sounds about right. And I don't think the increase in weight came from fat gains. I think it mostly came from refueling my muscles with glycogen, filling them back up with water, and just taking it from there. Because the exhaustion points to something else. It's if you're that exhausted, I doubt it's your body's going to move it towards, both my body, it's going to move it towards fat. I think it's more of refueling and making sure my muscles are all right and like getting that performance back in. And so even though the scale moved up in weight, I think other than the scale moving up, it went perfectly fine. And cardio-wise, I think we've already covered that with the walking. The biking was tough. Like long distance, steady state cardio was tough in the fact that it was just burning a lot of calories just because you have to keep on going. Those were calories that I kind of needed for recovery. I still did it. That steady state cardio, like I said in the previous video, I don't want to be the powerlifter that's talking and getting exhausted and can't keep a constant sentence going. But that was the results of week 1. I think it went fairly well. I think if there was anything I wish that happened, I wish the scale went down and I didn't feel exhaustion, so I know that I'm near my maintenance calories. But because of this 4,000 and this exhaustion, I'm going to increase to 48 and see how this week goes and then kind of take it from there. But I will update you guys on week 2 and I'll see you guys in the next video.